This week is Arbor Week in Oregon, and Thursday the 10th was Arbor Day.
And in honor of the emphasis Arbor Week places on planting and nourishing trees, Oregon Trails looks back at the life of a Southern Oregon man who may be the closest thing Oregon has to Johnny Appleseed. His name is really Charlie Hoover, best known to thousands of local school kids as C.C. Hoover. And as Newswatch 12's Ron Brown reports, Hoover had a mission to make Oregon a park with trees mostly planted by school children.
There's hardly a kid who went to school in Southern Oregon in the 50s or 60s who does not remember receiving at least one free tree, usually a pine or fir seedling, to take home to plant. Those trees, hundreds of thousands of them, were the gift of a former grass seed grower and nurseryman, Charles C. Hoover. Better known as C.C. Hoover, he and his wife took upon themselves the mission to hand out at least 1 million trees to anyone who would plant them and care for them. Working with public and private nurseries, Hoover had standing orders for trees. Volunteers from garden clubs to scout troops helped sort them for delivery to schools. He was always there to explain how to plant and nourish the trees, like these at the J. Herbert Stone Nursery near Medford. In 1959, he reportedly placed an evergreen seedling in the hands of a child and said, "This tree is your very own, forever. Plant it and care for it, and someday, when you get to be an old cowpoke like me, you'll come back to this beautiful valley and look up at a big tree, and you'll remember the day you planted it, and you will know that it is still your very own." Well, the first trees were distributed in Jackson County, but before long the program moved into the 3 neighboring counties, then to garden clubs and other groups all over the state. He also sent thousands of trees to his wife Elsie's home state of North Dakota. They were not all pines and firs, although that's what most of the school kids got, and they wrote back letters of appreciation. Hoover says he kept all of those letters as souvenirs. Medford School Superintendent E.H. Hedrick also thanked Hoover for his work. He said, "For perhaps the first time in their lives, many of these boys and girls have become the possessors of living things for which they are responsible and for which they are permitted care and serve, to labor for and await fruition. It's their first commitment to a rendezvous with the future." Well, as a result, years of handing out trees to school kids and others, Hoover and his wife received many awards from various organizations all around the country. In 1967, after distributing about 800,000 trees in 6 years or so, he lamented, "Well, I had hoped to give away 1 million trees before we wound up the program, but I just can't do it. It's too hard on my wife, Elsie, and me." So in a last-ditch effort to hit the 1 million tree mark, he contacted garden clubs all around the state and ordered a variety of trees for every member, and was finally able to reach his 1 million tree goal in 1967. Born in Grants Pass in 1890, Hoover died in 1972 at a Central Point ranch at the age of 81. It's likely there probably never was anybody in Southern Oregon with as big a vision for planting trees as there was C.C. Hoover. And his work continues to live on in the hundreds of thousands of trees he gave out to school children. Near Medford, Ron Brown, Newswatch 12.
Local historian Marjorie O'Hara reported that when Hoover was asked about the expense of giving away more than 1 million trees, he said that wasn't important. The important thing is to make trees available to those who want them. And this is what Elsie and I wanted to do.